Um, Let me thank you, BCCI team, for giving me an opportunity to stand in front of you and share some thoughts on um, how digital is impacting one of the primary sectors, that is agriculture. So originally I planned for, 25, 30 minutes of, presentation and then followed by question answers. But by looking at my previous speakers, I felt some pressure that I had only 10 slides. so, um, but I felt that my content is awfully inadequate, but let me try to, walk through and put forward some ideas, some thoughts. Um, so because there was also discussion around whether digital is actually disrupting or is it a continuum or is it evolving or whatever. But it has an impact on everything what we do, right? And by now we covered a lot of ground in terms of what are some of these technologies, how those are being used in general. Sandeep covered in general how things are moving. And we also looked at specific application of these technologies in manufacturing, I think at quite a bit of detail. Then we heard people debating on whether these technologies are good, bad, or we don't know. Okay, but whatever it is, they have an impact on us. Okay, but some of the things which I am going to put forward in front of you have an impact on all of us, not only at a professional level, but also at personal level, because we are talking about food, we are talking about sustainability, environment, we are talking about our farmers. And so before jumping into technology, I thought it would be good to set the context in which we are talking about technology and how these technologies are impacting agriculture. So I'll take a shot at what are some of the global challenges we are seeing with respect to farming and agriculture. Okay. All of us know that our population is going to be close to 10 billion by 2050 from the current level of about 7.7 billion. It's very easy to infer that more number of people means need for more food. We need more food, okay? And we need, obviously, as of now, currently as we stand, so we need soil and water, okay, to grow this food. We'll come there. So what is happening to soil and water? So on one dimension, we have seen that there is a population growth, and this population needs to be fed. So we need more food. The second dimension to it is the average consumption and the consumption basket of this population is increasing. That means, on an average, each of us are consuming more. So we need to factor for that also. So even the population is increasing at about 20% or so, but the need for food, or the increase in need for food, has been projected at about 70%. So by 2050, we need 70% more food than what we grow today. And that's not a very mean task, okay? Then I talked about what are some of these factors of production for food, soil, water, climate, mainly. So what is happening to them? So as there is pressure on land, because land is not only used for farming or agriculture, it is used for many other things. For example, as the population is growing, we need more houses. So to build more houses, we need more land. So the availability of land for farming is going to go down. So that means we need to produce more food actually from a lesser piece of land. And when you look at some of the productivity numbers of crops, either they are stagnating or going down. So the land is less, the productivity is going down, water availability and quality has a lot of challenges. There's a lot of unpredictable climate events because of climate change. So that is the context in which we have to produce more. Okay? Then there's one more element of sustainability. So we not only need to produce more, but we need to produce it in a sustainable manner. So one of the interesting measure for sustainability is what we call Earth Overshoot Day. And I'm sure some of you might understand what is Earth Overshoot Day, but let me just quickly explain that. So there is a regenerative capacity of this planet Earth, of resources we use. And also it has a certain capacity of processing some of the waste we generate, right? So at about 1970s, so Earth was able to regenerate whatever we are consuming in that particular year But if you see from 1970 onwards, Earth is not able to regenerate what we are consuming in a particular period of time. That means if we are consuming X amount of resources in 1 year, Earth is taking more than 1 year to regenerate it. And if you see, that date is coming closer and closer and closer. And in 2018, that has come on 1st August. So that means whatever Earth is able to regenerate in 1 year, we are consuming it in 7 months. And the rest, we are consuming from our future generations. Okay? So that is the global context. Now let's come to India. So India has its own specific set of challenges, right? So of late, farmers have been a constant presence in all media channels. So there are discussions around farmer distress, farmer profitability, waiver of farm loans, and some of the indicators to tell us that not everything is good with farmers is, so we have more than 50% of our population, roughly, depending on agriculture. But if you look at GDP terms, so GDP terms is only 15% coming from agriculture. So 50% of the people are getting much disproportionate incomes, right? So their income levels are low, the profitability is a challenge. Couple of other social indicators, if you look at. No farmer wants his next generation to go into farming. So it is a very, very clear indicator that there's a lot of challenge with farming. And why? One, because the profitability is low and questionable. Second is, as an esteem attached to the profession of farming is very low as of today. So if I am a farmer, I'm not very keen that my next generation also goes into farming. But on the other hand, we have about 1.3 billion people need to be fed, right? So similarly, the way we looked at resources, if you look at soil in India, so the way the globally soils are degenerating, the same issues we have in India as well. One of the important indicators is organic soil carbon. So a few decades ago, the organic soil carbon used to be around 2%. But if you look at now, most of the soils, it is below 0.5%. So organic soil carbon has many functions. So it impacts the way water is held in the soil, the way nutrients are absorbed by plants. So it impacts your nutrient absorption efficiency, your water use efficiency, and many other things. So it is critical to have at least 1% of organic carbon for the soil to be really productive. Okay, we have a challenge there. Then when it comes to impact of agri-produce or food on consumers. So we have seen many reports wherein the presence of agri-chemicals has been found in the produce. So it could be in vegetables, it could be in fruits, it could be in milk. So we have a lot of residues of chemicals which are used during crop production process. Why does it happen? It's mainly because of improper use of these chemicals during the process of growing food or managing animals. So we have these residues leading to question marks around how healthy the food is, right? So one of the symptoms or the implication is we have drastic increase on incidence of chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, even cancer. So we have increased, our capacity of hospitals by many folds. But unfortunately, if you visit any of the hospital today, it's very difficult to get a bed. So the imbalance, nutritional imbalance in the food we are producing and the chemical residues present in the food, both are thought to be one of the key reasons for our status of public health today. So we need to look at that. So having said that, so that is the context in which we are talking about how technology can help us address some of the challenges. So I tried to bucket these technology solutions for the convenience into 3 buckets. So to repeat, we said that we need more food. We need to grow more food. We need to feed more number of people, with higher average consumption. And we not only need more food, but we need safe, healthy, and sustainable food. Right? Then, so we have the third challenge we have seen that we need to improve farmer profitability. So there has been a program, large-scale program on doubling farmers' income. But in my view, just doubling is not enough. It has to be multiplied many times if we have to attract new people into farming. Okay? So let us look at what are some of the technologies we are seeing in each of these segments or buckets. So we'll start with the farm itself. So we heard about manufacturing 4.0. We heard about digital twins and all. So we are hearing what we call as agriculture 4.0. So similar to manufacturing 4.0 is a connected manufacturing. Agriculture 4.0 is also connected agriculture. How do we connect multiple things operating in the farm or across the value chain to make it more integrated? Okay. So some of the so I will also talk about from practical implementation point of view, where are these technologies, and also from a business model point of view. So who is going to pay for them? Because when it comes to technology in agriculture, it is very, very important to understand what is the business model. who is going to pay for it? Will it be paid by the farmer, or will it paid by some of the support ecosystem, right? Because what we have observed is unless a particular technology intervention or technology solution is taken up in a business model way, the adoption is very, very limited. Because we have seen a lot of efforts in terms of philanthropy are by the governments, but their adoption levels have been limited. So it is important that we take up any of these solutions more in a business model manner for a large scale adoption, right? So we'll start with the smart farm. So under smart farm, so one of the critical component is irrigation. So we have many smart irrigation solutions today available in the market. So they are from as simple as a mobile controller driven starter for the irrigation pump and motor. So those who are connected to village, they know that even today, so farms get electricity in the night. So if you have to switch on your electrical motor, so you have to go to the farm in the night. So because of this mobile controller base, what happened is now you can switch on the motor by operating your starter through a mobile phone. So the farmer need not go, farmer knows that he is going to get electricity about 10 o'clock in the night. So he need not go to the farm to switch on the motor. So whereas he can just switch it on from the mobile phone. And these are available in the market, they are working. And they're not very expensive. So a lot of farmers are adopting it by paying for it, right? So in smart irrigation, so mobile control based starter operators on one side. And if you look at on the other side, we have a complete closed loop drip irrigation system with sensors continuously monitoring soil moisture levels, and based on that controlling the automated valves which would release water based on the actual moisture level and the required moisture level with very, very minimal farmer interference. So such models are available for prototypes. They have not reached the farmer level yet. It will take some more time. But in the West, they are quite common now. So when we see the technology, we need to understand the perspective difference between the Western farms and Indian farms. So most of the Western farms, especially North America, South America, some parts of Europe, are really, and Australia. They are all very, very large. So you're talking about farm size of, 500 acres and upwards, or 1,000 acres, or sometimes Australia has some farms of 1,000 hectares. Vis-a-vis India. So average farm size in India today is less than 1 hectare, that is 2.5 acres. And we have 163 farm holdings. So we are talking about 163 million farm holdings with an average size of less than a hectare. So whatever solutions targeted at that farmer should keep this in mind, so that farmer should be able to pay for this, right? So the moment we talk about a closed loop controller driven drip irrigation system, so most of our farmers will not be able to afford it. So that will become applicable for a niche set of farmers who are mainly taking up commercial farming or orchards, and which can pay for that kind of technology, right? So the scaling of technology to identify the right target group is also very, very critical. Then a smart farm equipment. So we had some discussion around smart machines. So it is an extension of smart machines. So basically you have IOT driven chips inside a farm vehicle. So it could be a tractor, it could be a combine harvester, it could be a transplanter. So this IoT device is continuously polling information from the machine to a central server. So from that, one can know that what is the fuel efficiency, what is the machine usage, coverage, and also, you can set alerts for servicing and other diagnostics. So those are all smart farm equipment. Again, smart farm equipment is operational in the West, but it's not yet very popular in India. So John Deere and Mahindra both are working on IoT enabling the tractors what we have. I think, but that's not very far. And very soon we will see some of these smart tractors working in our farms. The other area is smart nutrition. So smart nutrition works on the principle of, again using soil sensors to determine what is the level of nutrients in the soil and calculate the recommended nutrition based on the ideal crop requirements. So I have a current level of nutrients being assessed by a sensor-driven device, and I compare it with what is the ideal nutrition schedule for that crop, and based on that, I arrive at the exact requirement so that I don't apply either more or I don't apply less. So some of these soil sensors are in prototype stage. So still sensors are not widely available. Then there was also discussion around computer vision, and computer vision combined with AI. How computer vision and AI can be used to the context of agriculture. So, okay, there are 2-3 use cases what we have been working on. So one was basically the crop assessment. So we look at satellite images and see how many millions of acres is under a particular crop. So that information is very, very useful for planners, and it's very useful for commodity houses to understand what is the extent of the crop and how is going to be the price and other things. So from an accuracy perspective, the crop estimation using remote sensing is fairly accurate, about 85 to 90%. As all of you know that the accuracy of these estimates will keep on growing once we have more and more data, and we fine-tune the algorithms based on actuals and predicted values. So it will take some more time to have higher and higher accuracy. The other area of computer vision is basically image-based disease or insect or any other damage recognition of plants. So it's simply you have an app. You just go and you feel that the particular plant or piece of land is not doing well. You take an image and the app will tell you that probably this is the problem with this kind of probability. So there the probability levels are still low. So for certain crops, for certain problems, some of the players are having accuracy about 70-80%. But 70-80% is not good enough to give that to the farmer. So probably the field staff of these companies can use that, but it's not yet ready to put it into the hands of the farmer. So that's what we are seeing in terms of smart farm. And the second theme is been integrating value chains. So integrated value chains, how they are different from current commodity-driven supply chains. So most of the agriculture commodities today are supply-driven commodity chains. But from there, the ideal state is to move on to consumer-driven value chains. So I can give a couple of examples from ITC stable. So one is we do a program called Food Safe Chili. So Food Safe Chili is a program done by Agribusiness Division of ITC. So wherein they work with about 1,000 farmers. So these farmers are guided right from day one till harvesting, right from identification of the proper varieties, identification of the inputs to be used, the right kind of agronomic practices. So set of field assistants on the ground, they handhold the farmers from day one till harvesting. And these field assistants, they use mobile apps to manage this program. So things like farmer registration, things like recording the farmer actions is done in a mobile app. So that enables them to generate notification and alerts wherever there is a problem, and everybody is alerted. So from there, once you harvest the produce, then you store it in an intelligent warehouse. So the warehouses are fitted with IoT devices. These devices continuously poll the temperature being maintained to a central server. So whenever temperature deviates from the defined range, so there will be an alert, and the right person is alerted, so he will go and take a corrective action. And the third element of this is the lot identity. The lot identity of each bag is maintained right from the farm level to the consumer level. If not consumer, the customer level. So most of it gets exported. So till it reaches the export customer, the lot identity of that particular bag is maintained. Okay, and the extension to this is to put all this track and trace onto a blockchain, so that it kind of becomes immutable. So that is an example of integrated value chain, and how this integrated value chain leverages some of these technologies to, one, increase the farmer's income. In this program, compared to an average chili farmer, so food safe chili farmer gets about 20 to 25,000 per acre more income per acre per season. That is the benefit to the farmer. For ITC, so they realize higher value because it is source preserved, safe food. So the customers are willing to pay more, right? So, and from an environment perspective, so it is ensured that only the safe chemicals in the right quantity are being used. So the farmer is getting benefited, the orchestrated ITC is getting benefited, and the environment is getting benefited. So these are the future value chains we need to look at. Now this is an example of chili. We do not so intensive, but similar thing for wheat. So wheat, we work with much large number of farmers. So where we guide them right from, even we work with the research institutes to come up with the right varieties. From there, we take these varieties to the farmers. Farmers grow them, and we buy from the farmers, and then we make atta to the consumer. So a couple of things here. So what we are trying to do here, technology is enabling us to connect, millions of producers to billions of consumers, which is not possible otherwise, right? So with technology and with some of the developments in data capture, etc., we can synchronize millions of producers with billions of consumers. Because we give confidence to the consumer that it is source traced, it's really produced safe, it's really produced sustainably, consumer is willing to pay a premium. So unless consumer pays premium, we will not be able to increase the profitability of the farmer. That's what is possible here. So the third dimension, or the third segment I talked about, is basically make a farmer, a smart farmer, a connected farmer. So what are the key things required by farmer? So farmer needs certain set of inputs to grow his crop, and once he grows that, he needs a buyer who buys that produce, and in between, so he needs financial products in terms of credit as well as insurance, and there are a lot of government interventions in terms of subsidies and other support programs which are relevant for the farmer. So in today's world, so all of this is desperate, and all of this happens on paper. So, how ITC is trying to address this problem is, how many of you heard about eChopal program? Okay, few. But just to give quick background on eChopal. So eChopal has been again a technology-driven farmer enablement program started way back in 2000, and the idea was to use basically internet to bridge information gap between the research and other information providers with the farmers. So that was in 2000. So we are 2019. So eChopal evolved from eChopal 1.0, where the focus has been procuring the farmer's produce, to eChopal 2.0, where apart from procuring the produce, there will be sale of products and services to farmers. And eChopal 3.0 has been really on communicating with the farmers on different ideas. And what we are now going to release is eChopal 4.0. So eChopal 4.0 is basically a digital or a mobile Chopal. So in eChopal, till eChopal 3.0, so the information has to be passed from ITC representative, whom we call Sanchalak, to the farmers. But in eChopal 4.0, information will be put into the farmer's hand directly. How is it possible today, which was not possible in the past, is because of penetration of telephones as well as smartphones. So our primary survey tells us that today most of the farmer households have access to one smartphone. So everyone in the rural has a phone, but every household has access to one smartphone. So they are willing to use it provided you show them the value. So it all depends on can we show value to the farmer so that he is willing to use his smartphone and data connection. Till couple of years ago, data is problem, but with Geo, I think data availability also has been democratized. Though I need to caution that data quality is still a problem. Consistent quality data availability is not only a problem in villages, even sometimes in cities, and I'm sure that all of us experience that. So when we build these solutions based on a certain quality assumption, we need to keep that in mind. So this eChopal 4.0 platform, or the digital platform, aims to connect farmer with all his stakeholders. So whatever the information gap which was there will be done away with once farmer has a smartphone based application, is able to access a lot of things, right? So there are many other even mobile apps, applications, platforms built by many other companies targeted at farmers, right? So this is how the mobile app for farmers looks like. So some of the key information elements here, if you see, are basically one is weather forecast. So accurate hyperlocal weather is still a challenge. So our district level weather forecasts are fairly accurate, about 80%, 85%. But when we look at, but what does farmer need? Farmer needs to know, is it going to rain today, tomorrow, day after, in my farm, right? If whether it's happening in the district or not is of great relevance to him. So when we talk about weather for the farmer, one most important piece of information for him is it going to rain today, is it going to rain tomorrow, is it going to rain next 2 days, so that I can plan my farm operations, right? But that challenge is not yet, not yet addressed. So we have a lot of solution providers saying that we can do that, but we still have to, see by ourselves working in a particular, farm. There are a lot of claims, but at least we have not seen so far solutions working on the ground, right? But that's one potential area for, the agri-tech entrepreneurs to crack, right? The other piece of information you see at the bottom is basically the prices. So one overarching theme in having such a mobile app for farmers is you can do a lot of personalization, contextualization, right? Because in this app, I already have information about the farmer with his consent. What is his address, where is his farm, what is he planning to grow on the farm. So with that, I can provide him information in terms of what is relevant for his particular crop, what is relevant for that particular crop at that point in time, right? So I can help him to do a digital farm calendar. So he tells me what is the crop, he tells me what is the date of sowing, so I can give him a calendar of operations. So you do it, X plus 10 days, you do this, X plus 15 days, you do this. And I also give him a provision saying that he can, give the information back saying that he has done or not done. And along with these operations, he can also record his cost of cultivation. So if you see, most of the farmers, the record keeping quality is not that great. So when we are talking about the profitability of the farmer, on what basis we are talking about the profitability? Unless you capture the costs accurately, unless you capture the realization accurately, it will be very difficult to arrive at the profitability. But such apps help him to capture his costs as well as his realization so that he can know exactly what is the profitability in a particular crop in a particular season. Right? So this is a general purpose farmer app. So the other apps which would be built on Eachapal 4.0 platform are specific ones. Say for example, there is a requirement in terms of farmers want to buy seedlings online. So ITC has a paper division, so they sell eucalyptus seedlings. So they built an application wherein farmer can go online or go on this mobile app, select, or give details like how much land he has or how many acres of land he wants to plant and what is the type of soil. Then the app gives suggestions in terms of what is the right variety of saplings he should go for and how many number of saplings he should buy. And also it facilitates online payment through BIM. And it gives him tracking in terms of where is his order. His payment is full, his order is yet to be dispatched, already dispatched, on the way going to reach his farm and so on, so date. So it's basically a kind of e-commerce for the farmer at a very, very basic level or fundamental level. And one such use case specific application is what we call is a seed bank. So availability of right quality of seed is a challenge for most of the farmers, and that is especially for what we call as varieties or open pollinated seeds. So open pollinated seeds where farmer does not need to buy every season. So there is no hybridization involved in open pollinated seeds every year. So companies are not really interested in producing open pollinated seeds because farmers don't need to buy them every year so that the demand is low. So because of that, farmers do not get access to good quality of open pollinated varieties. So 2 years ago, ITC designed a program wherein the community farmers, those who are progressive farmers, they become seed growers, they grow seed, and they distribute or they sell to the other community farmers in the community. So what it helps is in an otherwise model where you produce the seed at location X, take it to about 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers for processing, very basic processing, mostly cleaning, packing, and travels back 200 kilometers to sell it in the same area where it has been grown. So a lot of expense involved, making the seed expensive. Whereas in this program, it is basically local production and local consumption. So the farmers who can adopt to these standards of seed growing has a slightly higher level of controls and standards are identified. And the seed production process is supervised by some of the community leaders themselves. So there are group of farmers we call Margadarshak Mandal. So they inspect these seed plots periodically and they rate the crop, right? And at the end of the season, so the information around, on the seed growers, the ratings they got, and the yield and the price at which the seed grower is willing to offer is published to other farmers in the community. So it removes all that waste which was happening previously to go all the way, get clean, come back. And in this, how each of these farmers are benefited, the grower gets better realization for his seed crop compared to the grain crop, and the consumer farmers are those who are buying seeds get at a cheaper price because there is a lot of costs which have been eliminated. So that's how it benefits both the seed grower farmer as well as the seed consumer farmer. And for ITC, it helps to buy a good quality crop. So that's how all the stakeholders in the program are benefited. So that's at a very high level what I wanted to share. So the bottom line is we need more safe, sustainable, affordable food with much lesser resources and in a sustainable manner. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I request Mr. Vijay Srirangan to felicitate Mr. Krishnan.